Hi, this is Kaleah from Pandora's Box, and today we're going to talk about forgiving the unforgivable. Most people have the wrong idea about what forgiveness is. They believe that it has to do with telling that person what they did was okay, their behavior was okay. And this is not forgiveness at all. Forgiveness is actually releasing your attachment to the behavior of the other person so that you can bring your energy back to yourself. It's that simple. It's not about inviting that other person into your life again or back into your life. That's not always going to be possible, and it's not always going to be what you want to do. So forgiveness is not about making the behavior of the other person okay, and it's not about inviting them back into your life. It's about bringing your own energy back into your life. If you think about how much you give energy to a person when you hold a grudge against them, when you stay in pain and you stay in anger, that's an awful lot of energy. So when we're able to finally let go of our anger and finally let go of our pain, we can bring all that energy that we've been giving the other person back into our own life. We're also taking all that energy from the past and bringing it forward. We're bringing it to the now. And the now is really the only moment we're ever truly alive. The now is the only moment that we create our reality. We don't create any longer from the past. We can stay stuck in the past. And when we refuse to forgive, we stay stuck in the past. Now, a lot of people won't forgive because that anger serves them in some way. They're holding on to that anger. They're holding on to that anger because that anger acts as a boundary. It's a strong boundary. If I stay angry at you, there's no way I'm letting you back in this door because I'm going to put up my anger walls and you're not coming back in. But it takes a lot of energy to keep that anger in place. It's much more effective to have strong boundaries. Anger's not the most effective boundary. You can have boundaries from a place of love, even self-love. I love myself, so I'm not going to let you back in the door. Or I love you, but no more. So this self-love is an excellent boundary to be able to care enough about ourselves to not give that person the opportunity to repeat the infringement. We have to learn our lessons. We have to learn from our experiences. So forgiveness is not about allowing that person to be a part of our lives. It is about taking our energy back into our own lives. It's important to remember this. Also, when we constantly create stories in our head or tell those stories over and over about what that person did to you, it keeps that trauma alive. So if you're always talking about the infringement, what that person did, you're always telling the story, you're always looking for validation of your story, you're staying stuck in your story. It becomes a regular part of your daily thinking. So these thoughts and these beliefs that you're forming around the story become part of your daily life. In fact, who are you without your story, right? My recent story is, well, let me tell you about my breakup story. Let me tell you about what he did to me. Let me tell you about what she did. And these stories keep us stuck because the stories produce feelings. When I tell the story about how he cheated on me, it makes me feel so worthless, brings up all those feelings of worthlessness, and I stay in pain. Now, a lot of what is being brought up for us is our core wounds. We get stuck in our core wounds. And these core wounds are the wounds that we had in early childhood that told us who we were, that formed the beliefs about who I am. Common core beliefs are I'm unlovable, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me, I'm stupid, I'm not attractive. These are just a few. So when somebody else's behavior triggers your core wounds, it's easier to be angry at that other person for triggering your core wounds than it is to actually come back to your wounds and begin to give love and attention to yourself, to that part of you that's hurting. Often our pain is showing us where we need our own attention. But we can look outside of ourselves and try to get positive attention from the person that's hurting us. Try to get them to take responsibility. Try to get them to have compassion for us. Try to get them to love us when they don't, when they're not compassionate. So then we're always reaching outside of ourselves, trying to get something from out there. When really our true power is always coming back to ourselves and looking at what is it I need and how can I give that to myself. So there's a certain self-forgiveness that needs to happen when somebody has done something terrible to you, something very hurtful. You have to forgive yourself for putting yourself in harm's way. I'm so sorry I put you in harm's way. I'm so sorry I went back to this relationship again. I'm so sorry I didn't listen to the red flags. I'm so sorry I didn't take care of you. So we come back to ourselves and we begin to give that love and attention to the part of ourselves that needs it, usually our inner child. You know, I see that you're feeling really unworthy right now. I'm so sorry. You are not unworthy. You are so special. You are so beautiful. So we begin to tell ourselves a different story. Instead of staying stuck in this story of what that person did to you, you tell yourself a different story. You are good. You are worthy. You are lovable. You matter. You matter to me. And believe it or not, this is part of forgiveness, to bring your attention back to yourself. Forgiveness really helps us to cut that psychic energy cord that connects us to another person through negative emotions. So we can stay corded to somebody through our negative emotions because we give a lot of attention and energy to that person through these emotions. So when we make the decision to let go, we're also making the decision to cut that cord, to release our attachment to that person. Okay, I'm not going to remain attached to you through this anger anymore, through this rage, through this sense of injustice, through this desire to seek revenge, through this desire to see you suffer the way that I'm suffering, through this desire to have this crime vindicated, through this desire to have you take responsibility for what you did to me. All of these keep us attached to that person through negativity. When we finally decide to forgive, we make a decision. We're going to stop telling the story. We're going to stop our revenge fantasies. We're going to stop seeking vindication. We're going to stop going onto social media and look for signs that that person's suffering. Instead, we're going to bring our attention back to ourselves and look at our own suffering, look at our own pain, offer love and support to ourselves, to that inner child. And as we do this, we're really releasing our energy from the past and bringing it into the now, where we can create a new life, where we can create a life from greater self-love, from greater self-worth, and from a lot stronger boundaries, where we can say, I love you, but no more. I'm not going to allow this to happen anymore. This is self-love. When you give the power to another person to love you, to make you feel worthy, you're always looking out there. Please love me. Please give me what I want. And then we feel victimized when we don't get what we want. But when we take that responsibility for ourselves to get our needs met, to give ourselves what we want, to give ourselves that love and that attention, to see ourselves as worthy, to see ourselves as beautiful, to see ourselves as enough, then we're no longer going out there to get these needs met, giving our power away to other people. We often hold on to this anger because somebody isn't giving us what we want. So it's time to let that go and start giving ourselves what we want. And this is true forgiveness. When we pull our energy back to ourselves, we let that other person go. We let them go and have their own experience of life, no matter what it is. We release our attachment to that other person. And it doesn't matter how big the crime is. This same principle applies. I've known people who have forgiven people that have committed murder against a loved one, which is hard to believe. I mean, it's hard to see that. How can somebody forgive somebody that's murdered your child or your parent or your sibling or your lover? Because it's not about saying what you did was okay. It's about saying, I'm not giving you any more of my attention. And I'm not giving you any more of my energy. I'm going to focus on myself now. I'm going to focus on loving myself and taking care of myself. So just remember that when you say, I will never forgive that person, that is you saying, I will forever remain attached to you through negative emotion. And how does that serve you? You have to ask the question, how does that serve you? It really doesn't. If you need help working through those emotions, then by all means get the help you need. Sometimes it can be really difficult because these emotions can be really intense and really painful, especially when we're dealing with core wounds. So get the help that you need to deal with your core wounds, and that will help you to release and forgive the past, to be able to truly let it go. Because you are taking responsibility for where you are right now. You're taking care of yourself in this moment. Thank you so much for watching today. If you found this valuable, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel so that you can be the first to be notified of future videos. You also need to click the bell so that you will get those notifications. To find out more about me and my work, I will put the links to my websites in the description below. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.